the National Health Insurance Authority has admitted to the challenges of the scheme, but says it is putting in place measures to deal with institutions and individuals sabotaging the scheme. Joy News has been putting a spotlight on the challenges subscribers of the scheme go through before accessing healthcare. A spokesperson of the National Health Insurance Authority, Brema Sapon, says the authority is worried about how subscribers of the scheme are made to pay for medicines and services the scheme covers. We'll bring their response shortly, but first let's take you to the Bono region, where the subscribers there, the hope they have in the scheme is waning.
It's really sad to see that the policy has ended up this way, because I can't remember those days we used even to criticize the policy in a way that, you know, when people go for labor, they don't pay anything. And somewhere along the line, we're even criticizing that there will be high dependency ratio because of that. So the poor were really benefiting at the initial stage of it. But today, it is no more like that. I can say most poor people die accidentally because they cannot patronize certain things.
Naomi Dia was a subscriber of the NHIS policy before she decided to opt out. She recounts how some hospital administrators in the Pro East district keyed in drugs covered by the scheme, only for her to be told to buy the medicine from outside the facility.
I experienced something like that in precisely Yeji, but I wouldn't mention the name of the hospital. They queue in, all right, but the prescription was given to me at the store to go out and buy the drug. So in this way, are you not duping the state? It goes back into individual pockets.
This gentleman here, who asked to be interviewed on anonymity, says the scheme is worse off today as subscribers of the NHIA are made to pay for almost every service provided by the various health facilities.
Oh, I think it's getting bad because the last time I visited the hospital, they asked me to even pay for the card they gave me, because it was my first time going to the hospital, and they asked me to pay for the card, and which I think that one is free always. But I was shocked when they asked me to pay for the card before even seeing the doctor. So I think it's getting worse.
Mariam Alassan's kid brother is currently on admission at one of the private hospitals in Tichiman. For 3 to 4 days, Mariam has been made to cough out nearly 1,600 cedis just to buy medicines for her brother who is currently on admission.
In my own experience now, Mahu Sesiano, there's a 3-4 days.
For the past 4 days, I have a brother currently on admission, and insurance cannot cover a lab of even 15 Ghana cedis.
Insurance into cover. So far, 4 days, almost 6
million. So far, we've spent almost 1,600 Ghana cedis. They'll ask you to go for medications, and when you get to the pharmacy, they'll redirect you to the cashier, and if you don't pay, they won't attend to you.
The situation, according to Mariam, is leading to the death of many, particularly the poor, who cannot afford to pay for quality health care.
Today, if you go to the hospital and you have no money on you, that means you are going back home to die.
But what could be the major contributing factors to the recent underperformance of the NHIS? Some are of the view that corruption on the part of the various health facilities is largely to blame.
I think it's the health workers. That's what I will say, because the system is being corrupt. Everybody, when you get some opportunity, you want to use that opportunity to be a billionaire here in Ghana. So everybody should be blamed. That's what I think.
I normally tell people that all Ghanaians are potential armed robbers. We are bound to dupe the state at any point in time. So I think our hospital administrators, the PROs of the policy, and there's some doctors in the state, they have rendered the policy irrelevant, and the policy has failed due to those people's behavior.
The situation isn't any different in the rural settings, where some subscribers say the collapse of the scheme is pushing them into resorting to self-medications. Young Margaret is a mother of 6 who resides in Duama in the Nkranza North District.
Because of what we spend when we go to the hospital, we sometimes decide to buy drugs while at home. Meanwhile, we know very well that that's not helpful to our health, but we have no other option.
To these rural dwellers, the situation is compounding to their difficulties. Apart from paying for transportation from their communities to the nearby health facilities in Nkranza and Techiman, they are also made to pay for their medications.
In the past, insurance covers almost everything, but the situation has changed. We spend money on transportation and then spend on almost every treatment at the hospital.
Others also believe that the only way out is to privatize the scheme in order to save it from total collapse.
I would wish if the policy will go into divestiture rather than government owning it solely, because when it goes through divestiture, a whole lot of things will change. And I think those who took advantage of the policy and then duped the state wouldn't do it that way, because there will be a whole lot of research into it, and then they will keep a whole lot of negative things that are out of it, and they will realize the positive aspects of it.
Majority of the people we've been speaking with believe that the National Health Insurance Scheme is currently underperforming. They believe the crippling scheme needs to be attended to by those in charge of the National Health Insurance Authority.
Now, spokesperson of the NHIS, Berma Sapon, has been responding to the issues in the feature you just watched.
So we expect our providers to respect the rules just as we respect the rules and stock the medicines that we pay for. And if they actually do go by the terms of our contract, there won't be many of these stories that a patient comes and we don't have NHIS medicines, to the extent that we even create impression as though NHIS medicines are any less efficacious. It's just not fair. And all these things that we are talking about, what is going down the drain is public funds, because we are paying 100 to 150 million every month to providers. I can tell you on authority that most of these providers, about 80% of their internally generated funds come from NHIS. So I think it's a genuine frustration, and we should not let our people go that frustrated. And you see, when it so happens, it is somebody earning double, because no facility working with NHIS or no facility having been credentialed by NHIS will bring a claim and say that somebody paid 10 cedis, so add 10 or 20 cedis to it. Almost everybody who submits their claims come for full claims. So if you are coming for full claims, what is the business about taking monies from members? It is just unfair. It is our monies going down the drain. And I believe all of us, providers, must do their best, just like NHIS is doing our own. I mean, if any provider has any issue for doing that act, we are always open. Our doors are open to them. They can come and complain to us. They can come and sit with us. Our CEOs have gone around to sit with all of them, have engaged them extensively. And it was out of those engagements that we got to know that their problems were actually the non-review or non-regular review of tariffs and also non-payment of claims. That has been sorted out. So once that has been sorted out and you yourself, you are not coming out anymore to say that NHIS is not paying us, then you should do the right thing.
So at the moment, what should subscribers to the NHIS, what should they do? Because now they have the card all right, but the services that have been listed that NHIS should cover is not covering. Where do they turn to? Who did they talk to?
If you are a member, a subscriber, you go to any facility where they take your NHIS card that is valid and say they are taking care of you. Insist on what is due you. And if they tell you anything is not covered, insist on receipt. Because the only way we can verify some of these things is when you bring us receipt. We have what we call the pulpit policy. Now we are placing pulpits in major centers, and very soon almost all centers or all provider sites. And our members or our staff will be standing behind it. So any issue you have that is NHIS related, you approach them. Apart from that, you can also go to any of our district offices. We have over 170 district offices across the country.